Hey guys, this is Ace the Ocarina Maker, and why do YouTubers even do that literally right after the title card? Oh well. Anyway, welcome to a video that I've been meaning to do for a while now. This video is kind of a follow-up to the top 10 best and worst maps part 2. If you haven't seen that, I recommend checking out both parts, where we discussed why PowerHouse is the worst map in the game, for a number of reasons. But I also briefly mentioned that I found an unused area that could have fixed most, definitely not all, but most of PowerHouse's problems. And that's what we're going to be going over here. So this is going to be kind of like a live session. This isn't scripted. I couldn't really get the script to have the right feel, so we're just going to do it live. So what we're going to do, I don't know why there's two Z's there, we are going to enable SV Cheats 1, right? This is in the developer console. You can do this yourself. If you don't know how to enable that, you can just Google it yourself or tick a developer console in advanced options. It's honestly not hard. And we're going to go into NoClip. Right? Okay, so this way, the reason we're not doing this in Spectator, the reason we're actually going through the extra steps to NoClip like this is so we can physically interact with it, because there's a couple things to show. On either side of these large final points, you can see a little bit of, in fact, let me take NoClip off here for a second. You can see a little bit of an outside skybox. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, nice little visual thing there. Nice thing for the developer to put in, even though you can't really see a whole lot of it. It's, yeah, it's a little difficult. It's a little hard to see really anything. Let's go to the other side, right? But, you know, appreciation for world building there. So, at least whoever made this knew how to make a good-looking map, right? And honestly, yeah, PowerHouse is a really good-looking map. Like, I have my problems with it, but I feel like it would be a fun trade server map. But yeah, you can't really see a whole lot, but I mean, if you ever bothered to get up on these windowsills, there's something to look at there, right? And that's what I thought initially. This is just a skybox. Well, I fly in here, and I realize, oh, this is actually physically here, right? So, that's not really out of the ordinary. I mean, most of the time you would use a skybox, but it's kind of cool that you can actually peek through the windows and see the enemy's room. Admittedly, you can't see much, but if there's like a pyro waving on the other side, it'd be kind of fun to wave back and be like, hey, I see you. How you doing? After messing about in here, though, I noticed a couple things that are odd. One is that the water is not a kill zone. Okay? I mean, it wouldn't need to be. It wouldn't need to be a kill zone. There's no way to really get here. But what's strange is there's these little platforms that you can climb up. And they're at the perfect height for you to be able to climb out of the water. See, they look a little awkward, don't they? That's because they're just at the perfect height for you to actually get in and out of the water if you were to actually swim in here, not for aesthetic reasons. They could have so easily just had this be a long walkway or something and have a little bridge. You know, because if you fell in and can't get back to the bridge, that's not really a big deal since you can never be here. So that's the first thing that struck me as a little odd. And you can see, this is solid too. Even the pipes are solid. Now that's something you don't see. You don't see someone actually mapping these to make it so you can't walk through them if you're never going to be here. So that's already a sign that this could be an unused area. Now, these doors don't open, but they are also mapped for collisions. So, the first thing I did was, obviously, you get up here, and there's these little doorways here, so I decided to see, is there anything inside? No, but there's a perfectly straight path to this hallway in kind of an empty-looking area here. Maybe this door could have been moved over. It kind of doesn't make sense that it's there, right? That could easily just be a wall. But yeah, this could have been an alternative walkway, which would have really helped the travel time of getting across all this stuff. But it would be very, very sniper friendly, especially since spawn is right over here. You just peek down and shoot anybody who's coming out of their spawn. We don't need another sewage in there, right? So it's like, yeah, that was probably scrapped very early on before any real programming was done on the map. So, just for the heck of it, I was looking at these doors here, because these look like the kind of doors that actually open. And to my surprise, there's actually an interior. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to enable Full Bright 1. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to disable any actual lighting and make everything at its full brightness, so you can properly see this. Because honestly, this is a lot easier than doing it in post, and it looks better, because it doesn't get as pixelated. So this, you may also notice, is also completely solid. And it looks like these were supposed to be windows at one point. And yeah, I flew around in here. These little hit marks on there are mine. So it looks like these were supposed to be windows, and you would have been able to see across to the enemy side, right? This looks like a small little hallway, and yes, you can actually walk around in here, and it's actually mapped so you don't fall through. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Over here, you can see through these windows that are somewhat transparent, but that's kind of where it ends. Moving on from that, I noticed that this little block here, which developers often, like map creators often do to indicate where there's going to be a doorway. I've seen this in a lot of community maps that are unfinished, right? This little doorway actually leads through a real door and into the base right here. So that's a little odd. Why would this actually lead out here? It's very strange, isn't it? So I did some more looking around and noticed this little skylight here, and it's like, huh, that's weird. Let's see what might actually be here. And to my surprise, not only is there another window out there, but this is completely solid, and it's like a little sniper perch. Though the windows you can't actually, well, you can shoot through, but you're not supposed to. Though I think this might have been a early version of these sniper battlements right here. They've got the same design, about the same space too, right? So what makes me think that is on the other side, it's the same situation. There's the other room, and there's the other area up here, though it's a little hard to get to because it's not as finished. There's the area up here too, that also would have the windows, though this area is much more unfinished than the other one. So that's interesting, that's not a perfect mirror. But maybe you would have been able to walk through these hallways and there would be a staircase that could lead up there. There is like a building-like structure behind there. I don't know. That's interesting. There's a lot of evidence pointing towards this being a scrapped area, right? But why would it be so complete? And something else I noticed. These strange floating little pillars here, right? What could their purpose possibly be? So let's say this actually was an area you're supposed to walk and swim through, right? And maybe there were little stairs or ramps that came up here so you could walk in and get quick access to the enemy's base. So I decided to take off NoClip and see what's going on with these things. And I noticed that this actually blocks your path. It looks like this was an indicator for a fence at one point that would have held you in. If you NoClip just over these little barriers and drop yourself back in, it's solid again. Everything's solid. You can actually interact with everything, you can swim. There's a little bit of a rendering glitch here where you can't actually see the back of this waterfall unless you go a little bit further, right? But that's something that leads me into something else here. This waterfall cannot be seen from any angle inside red or blue base. So why is it there? Why is it there unless you would have been able to walk through here at one point? So I did some digging and found that there's actually a bit of lore to PowerHouse. So this right here, this part of like this massive dam, according to the lore of Team Fortress 2, is actually supposed to be the backside of Hydro. Hydro, if you didn't know, was going to release alongside PowerHouse, but PowerHouse was delayed, God, for almost 9 years, wasn't it? 8, I think, to be precise. But yeah, these maps would have been kind of tied together. It would have been another section of the Badlands. Now, these little outlines here, right? Much like what we're seeing on this side, it looks like these were meant to be windows at one point. Kind of like you see here, where you could actually see the dam. Now, my idea is that this could have been either an alternate path or this was supposed to be the main path, but I'm pretty sure this would be an alternate path because of how small it is. Like, this is beyond Hydro levels of small. This is puny. So I think that these windows right here were supposed to be used on this side. Like, take this hallway and flip it, and you'd actually be able to see the dam. But if that's not the case, and that was scrapped early on, the only way you'd be able to see the dam is through an alternative path. And that's, like, that in of itself is evidence that this was nearing completion, because why would you even bother having this... I mean, I guess it's not really resource heavy, this is the source engine we're talking about, but why would you bother having a flowing waterfall in this massive dam that you can't see from any angle when you play the map unless you no-clip? Also, another testament to how unfinished this map actually is. Did you ever notice that the skylights in here, right? Like, I'm sure you've noticed that. It looks like it might have a little bit of glass there. No. No. This is actually just a complete open segment. They didn't finish actually putting glass underneath this. Whereas, on blue side, there actually is glass. So I thought that was funny. They forgot on red side to actually put the glass over the opening. It's a little silly there. Especially with these electric turbines literally right underneath it. Like, what if it rains? I know that's a rare occurrence, but that would be absolutely devastating. So yeah, this map is a complete mess. I don't know why it's also jittering the camera when I fly around. Other maps I've been flying around and don't do that. I think we can all agree that this map is just broken and honestly has wasted potential. Now, the reason this would have changed everything is it wouldn't solve the problem of not being able to fire around corners properly based on what team you're on, right? Because that's still going to be an issue. But it definitely would have helped having another angle that you could have attacked from coming in on this side. And that would give purpose to these rooms being so stupidly big. Now, what I think should have been done is I think this should have been finished. I would definitely widen this. Like, these are very small ways to get through. I would definitely widen this, or actually complete these as well. That would still have the sniper issue, but you could have, like, I don't know, you could have it maybe curve a little in here. There's a bit of room. There's a bit of room to work with. But yeah, have two hallways going either way, so you're not just spammed out by one. Or, if they're really tight on defense, you could walk all the way around. That way, when you respawn, you don't have to take like 3 minutes to get all the way back to where you were attacking only to get blown up instantly again. It would have been so fast. This would have been amazing, honestly. And one last change I would have done, and I don't think this is anything that would have been excluded, this is just my own personal opinion. I think these here, like this pile of crap and this pile of crap, like this just junk laying about, right? I know why those are there. It's to try and stop snipers from being completely overpowered, right? It blocks your sightline perfectly to the point. But not anywhere else, clearly. I think a similar, but less messy, less in the way you could have done that, and to keep the point from being just spammed out by soldiers, is you could have had, like, 2 forts covered bridge, like a smaller variant of that, go across this way, and have the control point actually be on the bridge. Now, it would still be open from the sides, so that way a sniper could come around this side and still shoot at them, or any long-range class, but it would help prevent spam from, like, flying soldiers, because it would be a covered bridge. That's what I think should be done. I think there should be a covered bridge here, and they should actually bother to finish this unused area, because honestly, it's mostly done. Like, I'm sure to a map maker, finishing PowerHouse properly would be a piece of cake. This would be easy. And these little sniper areas here could also be helpful for people trying to sneak through. You'd only be able to cover one exit right here, but that would be the main exit. That'd be the important one. The other ones can kind of already be covered by the engineer in the same spot anyway. So it would have given snipers a little more variety than standing in one overpowered spot and sniping everybody. So yeah, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that they should redesign Hydro, or some map makers should take it upon themselves to implement my suggestions, and maybe we could see if this would be a good map? I know, like, stubborn-ass Valve would never actually change the map, but I think this would be cool. I think this map has a lot of potential. It would be cool to actually see the backside of Hydro. I think that's just amazing that's a really good reference right there. And I'm kind of disappointed that you can't even see it from any point in the map. But yeah, that's all I have to talk about on this subject here. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. Hopefully this was easy to follow. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the video. And you know what? This is important too. You know that little notification bell next to the subscription icon? Yeah, if any of you guys are subscribed, go ahead and click that, because otherwise, it's not notifying you about most of my new videos, only the super popular ones. So if you'd like to support all of my content, or be the first to know when a new video is out, go ahead and click that bell, because not getting alerted to new videos, no one wins in that situation. Unless you don't want to be alerted, in which case, why are you even subscribed? Why are you even watching this video? You know what? Because it's an interesting subject. Maybe I hate my guts, but you think this is cool. Well, anyway, either way, subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.